What is going on, YouTube? I wanted to do a video today talking about what is the best games to play literally on every console. Now, this is not going to be a video where I'm going to pull out every game, show it to you, play a little trailer. I could do that, but right now I just kind of want to talk more about when you're sitting there struggling to decide what to play. We've talked in the past about having, paralysis by analysis, just in general having way too many games to pick, and just struggling sometimes with what to put in. A lot of you know a long time ago I had so many freaking games that I half the time didn't even know what to play. But what we want to go over a little bit is if you're struggling with that, or literally what is the best or game that you should be playing at that moment. So as of right now, I am been chilling, playing a few different games. A big one right now has been Madden. Now, I'm not that huge of sports fan, but what I found is they have a new mode on there with franchise, and nowadays with all the online capabilities and stuff, especially that Xbox and Sony produce compared to Nintendo, is outrageous. So I can play franchises with friends, family, coworkers, which we have set up there, which has made this a lot more fun than it used to be. Whenever I used to play games like these, I would struggle with trying to find something that would keep me going because, after so long, especially sports and racing games, it becomes the same thing over and over again. So now, I play the computer every once in a while, I play a real person every once in a while, and I could do it from the comfort of my own couch. I do miss, back in the day when friends would come over and we'd play couch co-op games together and actually sit there and play together, but we still have that, ability. But it's been something that's been interesting to me to be able to go back and play some of these games and do that with that ability. Otherwise, another thing that's been going on right now is I've been playing a lot of Ghosts of Yotei, and it really reminds me of a lot of what games used to be, especially with like Assassin's Creed and stuff like that. And I really enjoy the storyline, the combat, and just the exploring. Now, a lot of these games I can get caught up on and distracted by and play for hours on hours on hours. And we've talked how hard that is as an adult nowadays to be able to find the time to play these games. Now, I work night shift jobs. As of right now, it's like almost 2 a.m. So I'm able to record at this time, play games at this time, and it allows me to enjoy some of these games that I otherwise wouldn't be able to because I'd be wanting to focus on my priority, which is spending time with my family and other stuff that goes on in my life. And making YouTube videos and video games is just kind of a secondary thing that I am able to do when I'm free. And that's why sometimes it is very important for when to choose what games to play, Like I said, those two games have been huge right now. Now, when it comes to yourself, how do you figure that out? It's not to say that I don't play any other games or do any side projects on top of that, but there is safety games that a lot of people talk about where you go back and literally just play a game maybe from your childhood that you love. Like a lot of times once a year I will choose to play Super Mario World for Super Nintendo because that is just my comfort game. We all talk about comfort and stuff that just makes us, if we're struggling with something or stressed out about crap, it's kind of nice to just be able to play something. You know what you're getting into, you know where to go, and you just kind of want something to distract you for a little while. And Super Mario World has always been that kind of game for me. I really just kind of put it on, listen to music, play the game, and have something to chill to play for an hour or so. So depending on your stress levels, your abilities at that time, games like that are also amazing to have and be able to jump into. But that is huge. Like, if you're trying to decide, obviously, it would also depend on which console you have hooked up at the time. My PC setup, I have a Retron 5, ready to go. So if I ever want to play any cartridge games, like up till a Super Nintendo and stuff like that, I'm able to easily pop it in, switch over to HDMI, and I'm golden. I'm ready to go. Same with Famicom, Super Famicom, Game Boy, any games like that, I'm able to just pop in and go. And for the most part, with a lot of the other consoles, the modern ones, a lot of them are backwards capable or not, are digital, so you could have access to those older games. But that still comes down to the point of motivation and just drive to keep gaming. We had a comment recently that talked about how gaming has changed a lot over the years. Whereas when you were younger, probably back in like the 70s and stuff like that, gaming was really pushed for adults and kids alike. And then it wasn't until like the late 80s and the 90s that they really focused on their primary demographic, which was kids. And a lot of the older, adults and stuff like that kind of started to drift away from gaming. Now, obviously, this isn't the same with all adults. We'll have those commenters, well, I was still playing games as an adult in the 90s. And that's true. I'm not going to say that it's not that way, but it just seemed like they were really pushing it for kids. Which, it worked, didn't it? I got one light that's kind of, my light bulb that's flipping out. So if you see it kind of flashing back there, that's what's going on. But yeah, I was kind of like, what the heck was that? But sorry. This is unscripted. This is raw. This is how we do it here. But yeah, that's kind of how it feels and then nowadays, it's like I see a lot more adult gamers. Obviously with YouTube, and maybe that's a huge thing nowadays too, is you just see more of it because you have a lot online social media. You got the online capabilities of YouTube and stuff like that, so you're able to see a lot of what's going on. But I love, like, nowadays too, the ability of the online capabilities. I think I've said that a few times now, but that's really huge for what's going on. I'm able to play games either digitally or with my buddies. Like I said, the whole man thing is insane. It's awesome. Like being able to just play games with your buddies now, especially like tonight here in Iowa, we are forecasted to get a blizzard, November 8th, up to 3 to 4 inches. And some of you are like, well, that's not that much. Well, right now it is, because we haven't had any snow yet. So we don't have, our snow plows and everything mobilized or salt on the ground. So as of right now, a dusting of snow will be insane. So when stuff like that happens, having the abilities to play with my friends or play with my two older boys that one's out of the house, and having stuff like that has really made gaming nowadays better. So the games like that I think are the best to play on each console. But it really, like I said, comes down to, what do you think? What is your go-to game? What is your comfort level? I've announced that I don't really like racing games and stuff like that because I'm tired of the same thing over and over again. But I have a lot of buddies who are so into racing, and I'm just I don't understand it. But that's what they do, man. I know this video is kind of off on its own little thing, but I want to know in the comments below, what is like your go-to game when nothing else looks good and you need something to pop in to play quick? And yeah, just like even a go-to console. Some people have go-to consoles that are strange to me. I won't say strange as in like, okay, I would never on 100 years understand that, but some people like I love the Genesis, don't get me wrong, but people are still to this day like, yeah, man, I just pop in my Sega Genesis and fire up some blah blah blah, and I'm just like, wow, like just thinking about that. I love the Sega Genesis. Now, I was a Sega kid growing up. After the original Nintendo, a lot of my buddies got Super Nintendos and I got the Genesis, and so there's obviously a lot of games on there that I'm tied to. But I want to know what your guys' go-to games are, your go-to consoles are, and yeah, let's see here what you got. I hope you all had a great Halloween. I've been taking some break from making some videos, so hopefully here pretty soon we'll keep pushing some of these out. But I'm very grateful for all you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, As always, stay retro, my friends, and we'll see you in the next one. God bless, my friends. Peace out.